Captain on the bridge.
Alright, Captains, we are back on the bridge, and today there is something that I wanted to go over that I saw on the Twitter feed. So on screen. Alright, so first and foremost, a shout out to Goofball, who sent me this message on Twitter, or tagged me, I should say. Waiting for Trizander to explode in anticipation. So that was about 14 hours ago. And this was replying to Trek Movie and Matthew 1 Dawson. Now I click on that, it brings me here. The TrekMovie.com, shout out to TrekMovie.com. Star Trek Picard Season 3 has con-level villain Jean-Luc Beverly Tension and, wait for it, the Enterprise. What? Now, the Enterprise, like, okay, now, you click on this article, it will bring us to here, to TrekMovie.com. So what I want to do is go over this article, kind of skim it a little bit, drop the 2 ECs, go over one more tweet, 2, and then go on the bridge in-game in Star Trek Online, and then give my final conclusion. So here we go. Whew. Okay, so again, Star Trek Picard Season 3 has con-level villain Jean-Luc / Beverly Tension and the Enterprise. Ooh, Captains, okay. So, in addition to unveiling the character reveal teaser, which was an awesome trailer, and we covered it, and I think we lost our ever-loving mind, the SDCC Trek Universe panel revealed much about what is coming for the 3rd season of Star Trek Picard, which has already been filmed and is expected to arrive in early 2023. Oh man, feels like a lifetime away. Executive producer Alex Kurtzmans was joined by Star Sir Patrick Stewarts and returning Next Generation star Gates McFadden. And all of them are dropping Season 3 clues. That's what I really want to go over here, Captain. So, significant roles for TNG crew in Season 3. The big news for Season 3 of Picard is the return of the main cast of Star Trek The Next Generation. Now, Captains, you know, I've mentioned it many times, multiple times on the bridge here on YouTube and on Twitch, that this is where I was introduced to Star Trek. This is where my love is. TNG. So we'll keep going here. Kurtzman said that it didn't make sense to do this at the start, but after 2 seasons of Picard, the show had earned the return of the crew, and said the team's goal was to honor the legacy of these extraordinary characters. He also explained how they would be brought into the show. Now, Captains, I will link this article below if you want to read this again as well, but again, like I said, I want to go over this here with you, Caps. And the key thing for us was that we did not want to have the crew sort of come and have cameos. We actually wanted everybody to have really significant roles, and we wanted to whet appetites a little bit to see them come back together. So at the beginning of the season, the crew is in different places around the galaxy, and slowly we see them come together. But we wanted to take the time, because these are obviously beloved characters, 100%, at least by Triz, to get to see where they are now. So this, to me, is my initial thought to that is it's probably going to be, and again, an overarching, but I hope they kind of close off the episodes and kind of self-contain them somehow, because after watching Star Trek Strange New World Season 1 and all the episodes there, I loved how they did that. They still had stories that overarched throughout the whole season. So I hope this is kind of the same way, and that they learn from that, because from what I see, it's just 100% positive, mostly positive, regarding that format of what they did in Strange New Worlds. Later, Gates McFadden offered some more insight into where we find the TNG characters in Season 3. McFadden, all you'll see with the ensemble, there's some of us, our characters haven't seen each other for years, and other ones, they have been in contact all the time. So you really do feel that life has moved forward and that we're engaged in trying to imagine a future that we all will have courage enough to live and go forward to right now. Patrick Stewart talked about the show and how he's taking risks, and so is he. We carve out new territory in Picard. That is the most essential thing to remember. We are breaking boundaries all the time and reflecting life as it might possibly be. As time has gone by, I have found that I have been able to take more risks as an actor, and this was a risk for all of us, but we embraced it boldly and passionately and with belief. Now, captains, we know that they're getting on in age. To say it flat out. And if this is the last iteration that we'll get of the TNG crew, I'm for it. I'm here for it. Whatever iteration. I tend to be as positive as I can be. I will call it out for what it is, if it is a good and or bad. So just keep that in mind, Gaps. Can I say that Beverly just ages like fine wine, or Gates? Whew. My favorite dogs. A new villain. Without giving out any details on the plot, Kurtzman offered some details on a new character who will act as the main antagonist for the season. Terry Matalas, very taken with the idea of kind of doing the final Next Gen movie, and it was really exciting to approach this from a place of who would these characters be now so many years later. The kinds of the movies that we, obviously Wrath of Khan is a massive touchstone for anybody who loves Star Trek. But I think one of the things that we love most about Wrath of the Khan is the mind games between Kirk and Khan and the one-upmanship. 100%. That has been a real North Star for us this season. The villain that we created. We do a singular villain this season. I won't say too much other than that. She is amazing. Okay. Now, the last scene, one of the last scenes in Star Trek Picard Season 2 was we find out there is this huge, like this galactic threat that, of course, the Girardi, who is now the Borg Queen or a Borg Queen, is sort of guarding this anomaly, that the transwarp hub that opened up because of the threat. And she mentioned it's part of a bigger puzzle. Now, the only thing I can think of when he says she is the Borg Queen, not Girardi, but a Borg Queen. Another one, because in my mind, or this is just my headcanon, Girardi is just another sort of collective, in my opinion. Now, this Terry Matalas, we're going to come back to that, to him. So, Enterprises, this is what our main two ECs are going to be on. So, one of the biggest reveals from the panel came from a simple question from moderator and Picard director Leah Thompson, asking Patrick Stewart if he ever gets to sit in the captain's chair in Season 3, to reveal that this is a complicated question because there appears to be multiple ships. Yes! We love ships. We love our ships. Hopefully there's a lot of pretty pew-pews with multiple chairs to choose from. So the captain's chair, the identical chair on the identical ship? I don't think I do. I mean, there's more than one Enterprise, and that makes it a little complicated. What? Now, captains, you already saw the thumbnail. But we do return to the original Enterprise for a while. I had completely forgotten that in those days we had carpets on the floor. So that's kind of an advancement that has been made. So, 100%, this statement is saying that we're going back to the Enterprise D in my mind. So his Enterprise, the TNG Enterprise 1701-D, the big gal, the ship I first saw in Star Trek and fell in love with Star Trek with. So, unpacking what Star Trek said, it appears that the U.S. Enterprise D will play some role in Season 3. The ship was last seen in the 1994 film Star Trek Generations. Holy cow. Been that long. When the saucer crash landed in Meridian 3 after separating from the drive section, which exploded. However, details from the first episode of Picard Season 2 revealed the saucer was salvaged and put on display at the Starfleet Museum. It sounds like Season 3 may include another Enterprise. Possibly the Enterprise E, last seen in Star Trek Nemesis, or more likely a new version as the series is set over 20 years later. Captains, I'm gonna lose my ever-loving mind. Woo. If we see the E, bonus. If we see the next letter, Enterprise, that would be nuts. There's a picture of it, yeah, the saucer there. The crash. Picard and Crusher have issues picking up on Kurtzman's comment about how the season finds various TNG characters in different locations in Season 3. Gates McFadden talked a bit about Dr. Beverly's Crusher's journey. Crusher's been all around the universe. You saw the universe from the Webb telescope. I've been all over the place. It's been really amazing to have a chance to return to a character and this incredible man next to me. Aww. And plunge in again. Because we're different, we've evolved as characters, and it was really a gift. And I wanted to also thank Terry Matalas for the great story. He was our producer, and he did a fantastic job. Again, we're going to get back to this Terry Matalas, who I've just heard of his name, saw his name today. She also talked about some of the characters' dynamics, including between Crusher and Picard. McFadden, I will say that the script of Season 3 Picard, I think, is the best stuff my character ever had on Star Trek season. So I was thrilled about it, and I hope that the fans will be thrilled too. There's a lot of unexpected things that happen. There's a lot of unresolved issues between Picard and Crusher. Ooh, there was a picture I saw on Twitter of them kissing, so that was kind of cute. Return to Picard Crusher issue again in response to a question about strong female characters in the new Trek series. McFadden, it is great to have other strong females. It was great to have Jerry, Ryan, and Raffi Michelle Hurd, and have the chance to work with them. I don't have that much, but when it happened, it was really great. I had a lot of difficulties with this man. Hugs Patrick. That's cute. Again, she's just gorgeous. Okay, Spiner's role in 7 in Starfleet. This is going to be interesting. Brent Spiner's returning for the 3rd season, but didn't appear in the teaser released over the weekend, which we covered here, and we'll link it in the end of the video caps. This is clearly because they are holding back on what character he is playing in Season 3. As he has previously played 3 different characters over 2 seasons of Picard. Data and Altan Inigo Sung, Season 1, and Adam Sung in Season 2. After the trailer played, Kurtzman added this comment. I should also add that Brent Spiner is also going to be there, and he's going to be an old new character. That's what I'll say. Jeez. David Kurtzman has offered a bit more insight into Jerry Ryan 7 in Season 3. 7 has found herself a first officer on her ship. Okay, so the last episode, she was given a field commission by Picard, but here, 7 has found herself at first officer. But as we know, 7 is in a Fenris Ranger and has a very particular view on how things should go in the universe. And so a lot of 7's exploration is about her identity versus the identity of Starfleet and where she fits in. So 7 was last seen being given temporary command of the USS Stargazer in the Season 2 finale, just like we said. But from the teaser and character poster, it's clearly she has officially joined Starfleet. Terry Matalas has also confirmed she holds the rank of commander, and as Kurtzman noted, she is a first officer. Likely 7 serves on the main ship for the season, which has already been confirmed to not be the Stargazer. What? Captains, we're also waiting for this Stargazer to come into Star Trek Online, so just saying. Okay, I want to read that again. Which has already been confirmed to not be the Stargazer. I'm not sure if they're just joking or if that is going to lead into what we're going to continue on here after this. Love is, she is really aged like fine wine. Anyways, Stuart ready for another TNG movie. Considers who could play young Picard. Season 3 of Picard is being promoted as the final season, but during the audience Q&A, Patrick Stewart was asked if he would return to the role for another feature film. Apparently he would, because why not? I would try to get the most out of them in all honesty, Caps. Yes is the answer to that. Bluntly, I think that would be very interesting and exciting and a worthwhile thing to achieve. Chris seemed open to the idea as well. I think that in some ways season 3 is that, but of course, look, if you guys love it, let's see what happens. It almost feels like what happened with Anson Mount / Pike. Another fan question about the idea of someone playing a young Jean-Luc Picard like James McAvoy has done for the X-Men role of Professor X, but Stewart didn't seem ready to answer this one. I find it very difficult to answer that question. It would mean stepping outside who I am, and as I've been trying to explain, Picard is here inside me. So I don't think it has to be necessarily somebody who lost their hair at 19, but someone with the feelings and the spirit, particularly when he watches Picard, and especially season 3, because that's where some of the surprises and shocks occur. They really are shocks. So wherever he is, I wish him well. Sir Pat says goodbye as things are wrapping up. Sir took a moment to reflect on a long history with San Diego Comic-Con. Can I just say that this may be my last opportunity to thank you to Comic-Con. Wow, because over the years they have supported so many things that I've been involved with. A wonderful experience. So here in the end, I'm very proud to be able to come back. Thank you. More to come. So, captains, that's a lot to unpack there from that here. And I'm going to sort of focus on more of the ship aspect here. So, for the Stargazer, if it's not the Stargazer, I hope the Stargazer is there. Okay? I do really hope it's there. It probably will be. And again, of course, we wanted to come to Star Trek Online because, captains, you know that that is the main thing we cover here on the YouTube bridge, is the Star Trek Online things. Now, going back to this statement here, we are going to see the Enterprise D, but there may be another Enterprise. I'd love to see the E. The E is such a smexy ship. But if it's the next letter, now, captains, you know that there is an Enterprise F in Star Trek Online. Now, in Star Trek Online, of course, the ships went into Star Trek Picard Season 2. So, and before Picard started, we know that in the comics, though not, Alpha Canon, considered Alpha Canon, they did show the USS Verity, which is an Odyssey-class starship. Now, we're going to go in game here, Caps. Just because we can. Now, here I am, of course, in the Galaxy. One of just my favorite. I mean, look at that. How could you just get... I would love to once again see this in action on screen. And also, of course, the interior. I just hope they keep it the same. Really, there's no reason why they wouldn't. But I'm just saying that for the sake of them always trying to reimagine things. Just keep it the same. I want the nostalgia nuggets. I'm there for it. Now, if they go the Enterprise E route... Oof, captains, this is what we might be in for. So I'm going to show her off quickly here. Continue without save, sure. We can always go back and change that. Now I'm going to get... Funny enough, I named it the Ent-F. Enterprise F. Ooh, that warping, captains. Woo. Hey. For those, again, who don't know, captains, this is the Odyssey class. This is actually the Yorktown remastered here in Star Trek Online. At first, I will admit, I didn't like the original Odyssey, but this version of the Odyssey I can get behind, or I've gotten behind. It's addressed a lot of issues and just made it look more streamlined, and is a huge favorite of a lot of my fellow captains. And I'm in it. I see why. If we see this on screen, yes, I will wet my uniform. I will say that again. I will wet my uniform. So, there's hopes for that. Now, having said that, we're going to go back here. Okay, while I keep that online. Now, going back to Terry Matalis. This is what I saw on the Twitter feeds. Okay. This was his response to this comment here, which is, again, we do return to the original Enterprise. I forgot we had carpet on floor. So this was from Sir Patrick Stew. Terry Matalas is a showrunner, director, popcorn maker. I don't know why I read that. For Star Trek Picard. And this is what he said, shutting this down before people get their hopes up. It's not what you think. So what the F are they talking about then? Get it? What the F? Cough, okay, I'll see myself out. If he's talking about us getting this ship, definitely 100% in Star Trek Picard Season 3, yes, please. I would, yes. I just, yes, please. I would love to see the ship on screen and this be an official canon ship. To me, it sort of is already, and that's just, of course, my headcanon. But could you imagine, captains, if this became an actual... Oh, a lot of captains would be happy, of course, me included. I mean, the look of it, really, it is kind of sleek. It is bigger, also, than the Enterprise E, which is kind of... has taken sort of that tradition of every new letter iteration of the Enterprise they've grown. So captains, I thought this would just be something fun to do. Again, if we get the Enterprise F and Star Trek's, you know, Picard Season 3, ooh, you know what I'm gonna say, right? Like, yes, let's go. Sorry, blood pressure. I'm super excited. Now, I will address one thing before we go. Before we conclude this video, captains. I know there are a lot of people that do not like the current Trek, or quote-unquote the new Trek out there, and that's fine. I said before in my previous video, like what you like, don't like what you like. There's plenty of Star Trek out there. You don't like the new Trek, go back to the Trek that you like. I understand that there's a lot of issues with Star Trek being forward, but they've always been forward. And at the end of the day, this is really not real, in a sense that this is just a show. And I choose, personally, myself, to enjoy Star Trek for what it is and for what it does for me, which is, like I've said many a times, this is a place where I go to just relax and just try to be part of a universe that I've grown to love and enjoy. It's not perfect, but that's okay. It doesn't always have to be 100% perfect. Nothing ever is. Some people may want to argue that. That's fine. But for me, again, like I'm saying, captains, I choose to be positive. The only thing that can prove me wrong is the show itself. And as I've mentioned, if there's things that I don't like, I'll say it. And if there's things I like, well, you'll know that will come with a yes and probably a uniform change. So, captains, again, we thought we would drop our 2 ECs on that article. Huge shout out to Goofball for sort of just kind of tagging me on that, which led me to making this video here on the YouTube Bridge. So like the video, captains, comment below what do you think your thoughts are, subscribe here to the YouTube Bridge, and until the next vid, caps, we'll leave it on this.
Live long and prosper.